Hello and welcome along to this week's episode. They've been doing it all day, sir. What a busy week it's been for sport. We've got the Lions, we've got the NRL, and we've got a thriller in the England-India Test series. Let's get stuck in.
How's your week been, mate?
Yeah, it's been good. A lot of recovering from the weekend was needed for sure. We went unexpectedly hard on Saturday night.
It wasn't too bad. I've had worse.
Definitely had worse. Do you know what? I thought I was expecting to wake up on Sunday morning feeling a lot worse than I did actually. It must have been those crisps that I had in the taxi on the way home.
That was definitely just a bag of crisps sorted us out.
But good weekend. What about yourself? Had a good week?
Yeah, not too bad so far. As you said, got sort of had a great day out on Saturday. Was pretty chilled Sunday, so it's been not too bad. Not a bad start to the week.
Yeah, the weather though, absolutely terrible.
Oh, dreadful.
I think it was raining since
never
Thursday.
seen rain like it.
And the fact on Saturday I got lightning 40-minute delay. But it was just bucketing. You couldn't escape it. That was the difficult thing about it.
No.
And out there at Homebush, it's kind of between the station and the stadium, a decent little walk, and it poured it down.
You can't hide from it.
We were fortunate though. We were very fortunate because the seats originally were in row 13.
Yeah.
And the day before the game, got a text from a mate who works at the Accor and said, do you fancy sitting in the members area? And knowing the weather and the weather forecast, snapped that up with a heartbeat, and we were nice and dry.
We were very dry.
Very dry up in that top corner. One thing I will say about Sydney, actually, compared to the other venues that we went to, a lot more Wallabies jerseys this weekend.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And it was great chatting away to them as well. We had the gentleman sat next to us was a great laugh.
He got more lubricated, we were definitely having a bit of banter.
His daughter was getting a bit embarrassed by him, which was quite funny because whenever he was chanting Lion, he was chanting Wallabies, and his daughter was like, shush. And I was like, nah, that's what it's all about. So I ended up having a good natter with him actually. Which was good, and again, it was just that wholesomeness of just chatting away to random people, which has been pretty much the highlight of the whole tour. Yeah,
let's get stuck into the game then. We've had a couple of days to settle down from it, but what are your thoughts of how it went?
It was a poor game of rugby from the Lions side. I don't really remember much of them attacking. It was all Wallabies, and you know what I was saying? It's the bloke sat next to us the whole time. This is what world rugby needs. World rugby needs a resurgence of the Wallabies. To be in that sort of top 5, and hopefully this is a kickstart. Because kids would have seen it everywhere. It's funny enough. The club I've played for, Wakehurst, their mini and juniors led out the Wallabies.
Did they?
Yeah.
That's
I saw
awesome.
that on the socials. But no, it was frustrating in the fact that you couldn't go 3-0 up. But I think to be fair to the Wallabies, they didn't let the weather affect them. They didn't let the finish affect them. The gap affect them, and they were fighting like they were a team that needed the win.
Exactly, and I think that sums it up quite well. Like they wanted it more. You can lay excuses down and say we're the team on the beach, but there was a mentality that they wanted to win it 3-0 and it didn't materialise. There's a few things that have been said. I was listening to Will Greenwood earlier that was saying we've got 2 data points now. The Lions were 2-0 up against South Africa in 97, lost the third game, 2-0 up against Australia, lost the third game, stuck with the same team throughout. Maybe in the third game it's the opportunity to give the players that didn't experience Test rugby a go because they might be hungrier. They might want to really perform on that big stage. But from the outset, we weren't. Like Finn Russell was probably the best player, arguably the best player in the first 2 games. He was up there certainly with Byrne and Curry, but he didn't get going. He was making mistakes that he wouldn't have made, or it felt like he wouldn't have made, had it 1 been a bit drier, and 2, he just been a bit more, I don't know, with it. It just seemed like there was a lack of concentration going on. So it was a disappointing result. A few interesting things come out of it as well. Dan Sheehan been banned for 4 weeks.
So, like, how the TMO missed that, I do not know. Like that was not on, to be honest.
No. And then you see Big Will Skelton, the impact that he had on both games. It's
massive.
It's a big shame that they didn't have him for the first test. The Valentini, and Skelton, huge impact.
Yeah.
And that winger as well, what's his name? Peach? Dylan Peach? I think that's the one that scored. I saw a combined 15 earlier, and I'd agree that the back three were probably
massively
all Australian.
Yeah, we couldn't agree more. The back three, it then looks at. I know he hasn't really been performing at his highest, but you've got the likes of Freddie Stewart, who's always been a absolute star in the back three, especially aerially, and that's what the Lions were missing throughout. All, like you saw in game one where I can't remember which winger got beat in the air. I think it might have been Tommy Freeman got beat in the air. They ran in a try, and it's every time the ball goes up, you're nervous of whether.
Especially in those weather conditions as well. But one thing that I thought stood out for me for the Wallabies was not the emergence, because we kind of knew what he could do, but Joseph Suaalii on the world stage, you can tell he just comes from a different code, because it felt to me whenever other backs or even our backs got the ball, it was like run into contact, know that the big boys come in and maul over, ruck over, whereas Suaalii was trying to make plays. He was trying to pierce through gaps. He was trying to step people, looking for the offload inside and outside. And he just makes a difference to the Wallabies. And I believe his inclusion and performance might entice a few more.
Definitely.
Few more across. But let's talk about the tour as a whole. Like, what are your thoughts of
Loved it.
the last 5 weeks? We started off in Perth.
Yep.
Incredible. Then went down to Canberra, game in Sydney, and then we did all 3 tests. But what do you think of it?
Glad it's over. But I've absolutely loved it. I think that the 3 tests really highlighted what the tour's all about, and just chatting to random people, from being up in Brisbane, chatting to people before the game, being in the cafe in Melbourne, and chatting away to Lions fans. It's been pretty awesome though, the whole period, to be honest.
Couldn't agree more. The people that we've met along the way, it's weird, the similar people that you see as you go around. So the boys that we sat next to in Perth, we saw again in Brisbane. When we were in Brisbane, we were wearing the full kit wanker, and then we saw people recognised us that was sitting next to us in Melbourne, which was really strange. And I don't know, part of me, on Wednesday night, I went to the Stain in Manly and saw Shane Williams, Justin Harrison and Lee Halfpenny. And those guys, I thought I was going to see those guys that we met, that we were having beers with outside in Brisbane at the Stain. But they may have been there, I don't know. But it was just interesting because they said they were staying in Manly, weren't they? But how much is it, apart from the cost of things, how much does it entice you to try and get to New Zealand in 29?
I want to do all 3. I'm not afraid of saying it. Like, financially, I don't think I could, but I would love to do all 3 tours.
One of the geezers, I can't remember whether it was I was getting beers or when we went inside and was sitting around that kind of like table, he suggested just doing it fly in, fly out for the test. So try and find accommodation for the Saturday night, fly out Saturday morning, come back Sunday. That could be a way of trying to reduce the cost, because a lot of stuff, and I mentioned this to you previously, that when I was in New Zealand last time, it was the year before, and a Lions tour, and the cost of everything almost
it's going to be so much harder to get tickets.
Multiplied by 5. But South Africa, I think, would be a real good one to go to. So in 8 years' time,
got to keep your wits about you.
Certainly got to keep your wits about you for sure. But a little bit of talk around before that last game, not coming back to Australia, but I think it's proved its worth.
100%. Don't see why they wouldn't, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it's embedded into the culture of the Lions.
Yeah, it's been since 1888 or something like that I saw.
No, I don't think you disrupt it, to be honest. I think you keep it. You could add a 4th tour into Argentina.
It's then every 16 years.
Yeah, so, but no, I'm a big fan of.
A lot of the positives I've heard come out of it is the amount of money it's pumped into Australian rugby. They're now be like debt free.
Yeah.
The economy has blown up in a number of the big cities. I heard, what was it the other week? 60 million going into Brisbane, 40 million coming into Sydney. But I think it's an opportunity now for Australian rugby to not rebuild, because they've got a solid platform, but to try and get to the grassroots level. Got a World Cup coming up in 2027, which today secured us tickets to most of the games, which will be good to tour around Australia again watching rugby. So when the draw comes out for England, we'll be booking the tickets for that.
We'll see.
But yeah, now it's over. Glad it's over. The liver's glad it's over. The wallet's glad it's over. But rinse and repeat. See you in New Zealand in 4 years' time.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe. But let's get on to the NRL. Can't say I watched too much of it over the weekend. Or tried to watch as much of it I could. Went to Parramatta on Thursday night with a mate of mine that came over from the UK. Storm versus Eels. A lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I'm getting ever so close with the Storm. Like the annoying thing is, you look at it on paper, and the Storm are churning out the wins as great. You got that saying of all great teams always find a way to win. But honestly, it's not going to bode well. I just don't think it's going to bode well for them in finals.
Something about them that just doesn't feel like
it's clicking.
Yeah, or if they play against a powerhouse or a better team, there's no powerhouses, I don't think, in the league this year. But if they play against a better team away from home, are they going to be able to do it in finals? Big question mark looming around them. But I did think at one point Eels had so much momentum, I thought they were going to do it. I thought your tip of the Eels...
It's not far off.
It wasn't far off at all.
It's just really frustrating. And the Eels, they're, like I said, I think they're now a team to watch for next year. If they can just keep building on this squad, I think they're a good team to watch for next year.
Couldn't agree more. Definitely couldn't agree more. And I think a couple of results have not gone their way this year. Early in the season, lost Moses. But on the Friday, was it a surprise? Warriors going back to back. I did tip it. Like I'm not going to say we didn't tip it, but last minute Dolphins go over in the corner. Big news from this one though. Herbie Farnworth, gone.
That'll just really impact the top 8 chase. Whereas the Warriors, I think I was looking at it the other day. They are now a point ahead of the Panthers, and the Panthers don't look like they're going to stop, and the Warriors could drop out of the 4.
There was talks earlier that I heard that 2 teams you've got to look out for, Panthers and Sharks. Like Sharks have won 4 in a row now. Yeah. And they're just sneaking out from nowhere. But Warriors seem to be on the decline, and those 2 moving up. But Warriors looked somewhat secure in this game though, and then just let it slip at the last.
But that's what you need though in big wins and tight games. You need the team concentrating for the full 80 minutes. You see, we'll talk about it in a minute. The Raiders, they've been so heavily reliant on one half of football the last God knows how many weeks that when it doesn't arrive, you end up losing. And this is this for the Warriors would have been a game of we're actually going to settle in the top 4 here, and we're going to be able to push through. Whereas it just didn't happen. Just didn't happen for them. Unfortunately, and again, sort of, you look at the points. Dolphins, Osako left 4 points out on there, so this could have been a 6-point margin. Yeah. When you sort of look at it that way, and the Dolphins went down to 10 for the last 10. So it's one of those situations where not only have the Warriors conceded in the last minute of it, but they've conceded against 12 men.
They've also, like we mentioned about the odds last week, they've dropped to $41. So I think they were 30 odd, and they've dropped to 41. They're probably the team that's in the worst form out of the top 8 so far. So it'd be interesting to see how they go. But a team that can't catch a break at all at the moment is the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Strong showing in the first half.
Yeah, solid.
I'll give them credit. I'll be honest with you, I turned off at half time because I was like, this is only going to end in one way. But it was really close up till half time. And then the Broncos just pulled away with it. But it just goes to show how ravished they've been with injuries. Yeah. They didn't even have an 18th man. And I heard Brandon Smith say earlier that the 18th man that they did have, or that it was Mamazula's that was, and then he got ruled out, but came in, was in a moon boot like 2 weeks ago. So sorry state of affairs.
Like, they just want the season over and done with. But I got to hand it to the Broncos. Broncos smelt blood and absolutely ran away with it. That'll do them good for confidence wise. Going into them, I think they're playing the Storm away this week, so that's going to be a big game for both the Storm and Broncos. But this you would be. I think you would have been talking differently about this Broncos team if they'd been able to hold on sort of last week. They do look good when they're moving forward, though. They do look pretty solid, but they've got that slip up in them, which is it going to be their downfall for the finals?
Yeah, they're a bit inconsistent. You can never know what you're going to get week on week with the Broncos. They obviously absolutely trounced the Rabbitohs, but tough game coming up this weekend. And then for the Rabbitohs, they've got arguably the biggest game of their season. It's up against the Titans this week, so it's a spoon bowl. I think they do. We'll have a look at team lists in a minute, but they do get a lot of players back this week, I believe. So they might well be favourites. But onto the Titans. How unlucky were they? Couple of moments of controversy in this game that I think we'll talk about. So the first one, I can't remember what order they happened in actually, but Brian Toto absolutely smashing whoever it was that went over and knocking them out.
How he didn't get binned for it, I do not know.
But how it's just been ignored with the no try. Yeah, all right, his foot touches the sideline, but you can clearly see that's an impact of Brian Toto smashing.
He goes limp. Like, he doesn't have control of his feet.
Yeah, and how that's not given a penalty try, I do not know. And that has an impact on the game because Cleary has to slot an unreal play. Like, I watched the highlights earlier. In fact, it came up on TikTok, I think, when I was on the bus home. It wasn't a pre-designed play. It's not like they tried to get down to that position. They tried to score.
Yeah.
And then Cleary went, no, this ain't going to happen. I'm going to run back behind the 40. Mitch Kenny throws the ball 20-odd metres. He barely catches it on the floor and then slots a... I mean, it could have gone from 50, but he's a magician.
That had a lot more extra speed on it, to be fair.
It did. But the other controversial moment in which the Panthers have been handed a 50 grand fine. The trainer running in front of the kick, Campbell, as he was lining up on the sideline, or was it Campbell, Brimson, whichever one. So lining up on the sideline. What are your thoughts on it?
Shocking. Where's the trainer going? When have you ever seen a trainer do that?
Yeah.
It is mind games of the highest order. Either the referee should have just given the conversion, or he should have just put him in front of the posts.
Yeah,
like that is disgraceful shithousery. And he ended up missing it. So if that goes over, it's 28-24 at the time, I think it is.
Yeah. Few things as well. Like, this isn't the first time that the Panthers trainers have come under scrutiny. Like, there was the old
ball,
wet ball scandal, but I mean, look, the ball gets wet in the rain. Like, you can't really.
No.
But they got a $50,000 fine now.
Has he been banned for the rest of the season?
5 games. He's not, or they can contest it, but I don't know whether they're going to. But a big thing was, if you're a club in a position like the Panthers, you've just paid $50,000 to get 2 points.
Yeah,
you've got to think of it in that way, that that's loose change to them. They wouldn't care. It's like 2 points guaranteed for $50,000. That's perfectly fine. But what a performance from the Titans!
Yeah, they've had this back end of this. Like the season, they've had this massive resurgence. Like, I know I know you said they weren't going to do it in 5:01, but they nearly bloody did.
They nearly bloody did. They very nearly did. They did it in 500, but
and Des Hasler must be sat there fuming. Like, where the hell's this been all season?
Yeah, it's who knows? Like, is it a case that the pressure was off? Is it a case that we can go out there and play some free-flowing footy? Is it trying to escape the spoon? They realise a bit of pressure's on, that they don't want to finish bottom of the ladder. Who knows? But like I said, they got a big game this weekend up against the Rabbitohs. For me, one of the biggest upsets of the weekend, and I know there is a bigger upset than this, but Dragons beating the Raiders 18-12. Seems like they love playing down in Wollongong.
They're just down in the gong. I just can't. Are the Raiders starting to come to a bit of a halt? Like, I know I mentioned it last week. So you want your team being able to play in both halves and absolutely dominating. Is this just a little blip, that just a little bit of a shock? Like, shit, it's not going to happen again, or is it this a result of everything that's been happening week on week on week on week? They've been getting away with it in certain terms because they've just turned up and been better than any other team in one half of football. And this shows when this performance shows what can happen if they don't turn up.
Yeah, I got to give credit to some of the Dragons though. Like we have said a few times that they're not far away. Like they've got the experience, they've got the players, and they've been unlucky throughout the season at some points. Maybe the Raiders were a bit of the mindset as well. We thumped the Knights last week. Take it not take it easy, because I don't think you can take it easy in any game. But if there's a game that we might be able to not have to be at our best, it was this one. They're almost guaranteed the top 4 as well. That might be in the back of their mind that they're kind of not limping their way to the end of the season, but they don't want to. I don't know what I'm trying to say, because you want to win every game. You want to finish high up in the ladder. But it's like one of those ones. Look, the streak couldn't go on forever, I don't think. The standard of the competition this year and the tightness of everything, I don't think their winning streak could have gone on much longer.
No, I agree in that. And also, you look at how the Dragons sort of went about their business as well. It's like they continuously, in the first half, they added that like scoreboard pressure. So they went about it in sort of a business sense. I know they scored early and they converted early, but then they were taking their chances with the penalties when they were like, right, let's not try and score here. Let's just get the 2. Let's get the 2. And it just changed the mindset when you're constantly chasing the game. And that was half time. It was 10-10 at half time, because they just went over just before half time. But you know what? It's that additional pressure that can sometimes get to teams. But I think it was very much it's a massive blip in the Raiders season, and with them coming into the finals and wanting to win the minor prem and then going on and winning the whole thing, probably should sort that out a little bit, I reckon.
Well, they've got an easier game this weekend because on Friday night they're playing the Sea Eagles down in Canberra. Which, talking to the Manly Sea Eagles, it's so frustrating. We scored 8 points in 2 weeks. Yeah, we've
attack.
Yeah, by far our standout player is Tolu Kola. There's no doubt about it. The try that he scored was so powerful to run through Nwangani Tawase, get over, was class. But look, can you put it down to the weather? Both teams have had to play in the same weather conditions.
I was just about to say, but the Roosters are able to put up 20 and Manly only 4.
There's some chat going around about like Angus Crichton's try being absolutely phenomenal. I'm on the fence of it. Like, Sam Walker boots it out wide, somewhat a miss kick to Tupou out on the wing, goes forward, and then obviously Manly at 6s and 7s, like they're just absolutely chaotic all over the place. Give it to Crichton and over he strolls, but so disappointing from the Sea Eagles. And I think there's a bit of a controversial point in this game as well, where Hopewadi gets
fucking cleaned out by Tedesco.
His head taken off. Intentional?
Yeah, I reckon. I reckon Tedesco knows what he's doing.
You always know that likely Lehigh Hopewadi is going to hit the ground when there's pressure on him. I think it's difficult to say whether it's intentional or not.
But he's jumping in the air. Like, Tedesco was nowhere near it and he jumped. And I don't know. I'm all those, ever since the sort of Stephen Hunt Petr Cech incident where he left his knee down.
True.
I always think there is a way to avoid it. And I'm not convinced that
the fact he didn't go to the bin as well was absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, I'm not convinced it was accidental.
Yeah, but Manny's season done. They're like, if by any chance we win 4 out of our last 5 games, scrape into the 8, it's going to be over week 1. Interesting to see that Turbo's back at fullback this weekend. Yeah. But for me, I think Seibold's
done and dusted.
Yeah, he's playing coaching his last few games of the season.
He'll be gone at the end of the season.
But who knows what's going to happen next year? Obviously, DCE, this was his homecoming game for the Roosters.
Still didn't put in a performance enough to...
I know, like, there's so much talk going around, like, why would the Roosters get rid of Sandon Smith, Keary, Walker?
It's Katoa, wasn't it?
And no, Tavale.
Tavale, that was...
Like, why would they get rid of any of them for DCE? Is it for the coaching aspect? We'll go after him next year when he's getting into coaching. But yeah, terrible. How random was it actually that I bumped into some geezer that I worked with in Felons before, who was going to the Sea Eagles game, and we were going to Homebush. Crazy the people you bump into when you're on a night out. But what is the upset of the week? And a lot of heat,
100%.
a lot of heat coming out of this one. The old Chod to the fans. The West Tigers knock over the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Last week, Bulldogs looked like the best team in the comp.
Yeah. Well, it was against Manly, but, you know.
It's still, they stuck 44 on us and absolutely tore us apart in the second half. But where's this come from Tigers?
Just them boys.
Yeah.
I think it's that dog mentality. Like, they... is it because it is against Bulldogs, Lucky Galvin? They were like, all right, now you're on her turf.
Yeah.
Putting a hell of a shift to fair play to them.
Luai just got in Galvin's face as well. Absolutely ruffled his feathers. You could tell Stephen Crichton was a bit rattled as well towards the end when he stuck in that high shot, and I can't remember who it was. It's Taylor May actually slipped. Nearly took his head off. Lucky not to go. I think there was mitigating circumstances where he had slipped. But any other day of the week, I'm pretty sure that's in the bin.
Going for a walk, yeah.
Going for a walk. Fair play to the West Tigers, though. Significant improvement on last season because they can't get the spoon now.
There we go. That's a win for them.
I'm pretty sure they can't get the spoon. But no one saw this coming. If you put money on the West Tigers, fair play.
Yeah, massively.
Fair play walking away from that one. What does it do to the Bulldogs? Not much, I don't reckon. They're the sort of team that I reckon see this as just a slip up.
Yeah, need to go into it and sort of rejig and fight for the rest of the season.
Yeah, but last game of the weekend, the Cronulla Sharks absolutely turned over the Cowboys. Yeah. There was no contest in this really. It was 20-something at half time?
Yeah, like the Sharks just
26-0 at half time.
Just inconsistent. Like bit I know we've said it before, but a bit like the Broncos. Like just getting the win over the Rabbitohs, who were absolutely dismantled by the Broncos this week. And then absolutely running away with it against the Cowboys, who absolutely stuck one on the Dragons last week. So it's so hard to predict.
If they looking at their record, so they're 8-2 at home, 4-6 away. If they want to make a charge for the premiership, I reckon they've got to be in the top 4. Even if they finish 5th or 6th and get a home draw for the preliminary or whatever it is.
Top 4 is tight. Two points separate 4th to 7th. So
yeah, it's going to be a real interesting one. Sharks now shortened to $19. Storm are still the favourites, which is interesting. They haven't been really convincing.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Surely whoever's doing these odds is a Storms fan, because I've got no other explanation for it.
Yeah. Who knows? But let's look forward to what are we on? Round 23. We're on Indigenous round this week as well. So celebrating First Nations, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. And it kicks off on Thursday night with the Storm at $1.49.
Yep.
Against the Brisbane Broncos, $2.63.
And I think the Storm lost the last time they were at home, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
To Manly.
Yes, 2018. What a game that was. Controversy.
16-18.
16-18. I knew there was 2 points in it. Where are you going? Payne Haas is back.
I've not been convinced by the Storm. I'm going to go the Broncos.
Oh.
I think my choice would have been different if Manly hadn't beaten them the other week.
I wasn't convinced with them on Thursday night, you know. Like, the Eels did stick it on them. Addo-Carr was causing problems. Lomax... All right, Xavier Coates is a freak in the air, like jumped over the top of Lomax. But
ridiculous.
It all depends what Broncos turn up. But do you know what? I'm going to join you. Let's go with it. Double Broncos on Thursday night to kick the week off. Yeah.
Awesome. And then the first game on the Friday, 6 o'clock kickoff, is the Newcastle Knights at $4.25 against the Penrith Panthers at $1.23.
Just looking at the ins and outs. So Bradman Best is back for the Knights. Big inclusion for them. Isaiah Yeo is out for the Panthers. Shoulder, I think it was. I saw him go down. Shoulder, but see, that's the result last week has skewed like the thinking. It's going to be Panthers all day, but like, is it going to be tighter than what the odds are suggesting? I think so. So I'm going to go with Panthers.
Yeah, I'm going to go for the Panthers as well.
Friday night, 8 p.m. We're going down to the nation's capital. We got the Canberra Raiders, $1.45 against the Manly Sea Eagles, $2.79.
I'm going to go to the Sea Eagles. I think with the introduction of Michael Cheekham in the second row, and Tommy,
first appearance of the season,
and Tommy Turbo back at fullback, I think is going to add a little bit of a fighting edge. The Raiders are going to be on a little bit of a losing streak, and Manly are going to win this rather respectably.
I reckon Manly are going to win this, Like, usually I tip against them when I think the favourite is going to win, but something tells me that fighting mentality are right. We've only got one shot left. Raiders didn't look too good last week. I reckon the Manly Sea Eagles get this one done.
Cut to next week. Canberra Wages 37, Sea Eagles 1.
Yeah.
If you can't even, it was just a last minute field goal.
Yeah, just for the points difference.
And then we are up at the Jubilee Stadium, or down at the Jubilee Stadium, or wherever the Jubilee Stadium is. We've got the St George Illawarra Dragons at $2.52 against the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks at $1.52.
I reckon the Dragons get this one done, because looking at the table like I did before when I saw the Sharks were 4 and 6 away from home, I reckon the Dragons build off that performance last week and beating the Raiders. No one's out, so lineup's pretty much exactly the same. So I reckon, St. George Dragons.
I am going to disagree with you, and I am going to go for the Sharks because old Sammy Stonestreet has been named back in the reserves. So that could be a late change at some point. But I think the Sharks are going to are on a. They need to keep this momentum going. They've got a chance of making the 4, and they need to keep the momentum going for the final. So I reckon that's going to be enough for them to want to get over the line against the Dragons.
Fair play. And then an absolute ball game, I think, is taking place next, 5:30 p.m. at the Suncorp. We've got the Dolphins, $2.07 against the Roosters, $1.79, 8th versus 9th.
Oh.
To be fair, Farnworth is a big out.
Oh, I'm going to go the Dolphins. I think I'm going to go the Dolphins.
I'm going to go opposite. I reckon the Roosters win this one.
I reckon that's a 50-50.
It is like, it's 20 cents difference, but they're pretty tight in the table. Both teams playing okay at the moment.
And then we're over at the Accor for the Bulldogs at $1.34 against the New Zealand Warriors at $3.29.
I'm on the fence about this one, but the Warriors are on the slide and they don't travel too well.
No.
So I'm going to go with the Bulldogs. And the Bulldogs have got to bounce back from last week if they want to cement their place in the top 4. So I'm going to go with the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there. I'm going to go the Bulldogs. They need to sort it out. They need to bounce back.
Then we move on to the Sunday at the Seabus Super Stadium. We've got the Gold Coast Titans at $1.49 against the South Sydney Rabbitohs at $2.63. This is the Spoon Bowl of 2025.
And you know what? I've seen enough from the Titans to go, even though I've had them as a certainty all season. If they turn up like they ever have the last couple of weeks, they're gonna storm this. They're gonna run away with this.
So Brandon Smith's back, Jamie Humphrey's back, Latrell Mitchell's back. They're not starting though.
Humphreys is starting.
Sorry. Mitchell isn't starting. He's just been named. If Latrell Mitchell is named on Sunday, I reckon the Rabbitohs win this. If he isn't, it's the Titans. But for the purpose of this, I'm going to back the Gold Coast Titans to win this game.
And then the last kickoff on the Sunday, we're over at the CommBank again with the Parramatta Eels at $1.62 against the North Queensland Cowboys at $2.30.
I saw enough of it from the Eels on Thursday and not enough from the Cowboys on Sunday that I'm going to pick the Parramatta Eels in this one.
You know what? I'm going to back the New South Wales team and go for the Eels to round it off.
There we go. And the West Tigers, after their great performance against the Bulldogs, have a week to recover.
Well deserved.
And do you know who they have after the bye?
Manly.
Oh, we might have the Dolphins, actually. Does it go Tigers, Dolphins, or Dolphins, Tigers? Either way, doesn't matter. It's not going to make any difference to our season. But on to the cricket.
Yeah.
Finished last night. India against England. Went into the final day. England requiring, 36 runs off of
England grabbing
four wickets. And India needing 4 wickets.
England grabbing defeat from the jaws of victory.
How does that happen? Like first off, let's say a draw is a deserved result.
Oh, massively. It's been a hell of a series.
Great series, and it went down to the 25th day, the final morning. There's been controversy all throughout it.
Yep.
And it finished with Wokes coming out, arm in a sling.
One arm.
And do you know what? I thought we were going to do it when Wokes came out, and who was out?
Atkinson.
Atkinson was out there just slapping balls all over the place. I was like,
I reckon if Wokes could have ran, if Wokes could have bat, I think that ends in England.
Because then Atkinson doesn't have to swing for the fences every single time. Yeah,
they could have just nudged it around. But you've got to look at the dismissals of Bethel and Jamie Smith. Stupid, idiotic dismissals in a tight game.
Yeah, I get the thing. So you mentioned it last night when we were messaging. I get the thinking behind new balls coming in 3 overs or 3.4 overs or whatever it was. Let's try and win it before that. But the ball was moving so much they were never going to take the new ball.
And that's another thing is the new ball doesn't really start moving until it's about 5-6 overs old. Yeah. And it would have been a lot quicker along the ground, and they'd have been able to smack it a lot harder. So I don't. It's frustrating. I still think there's massive holes in the England bowling attack. I still don't think it's good enough to get 100 wickets down here.
No.
But I think our batting, it could be enough to get us over, and I don't know how we get 100 wickets against us. I just hope Australia's batting lineup is just as dreadful as it was in the West Indies.
I do think it's going to be an excellent Ashes.
Yeah.
There's going to be collapses, I think, from both teams. I think both batting lineups got a collapse in them.
Yeah.
Obviously, Harry Brook, great knock at the end. Joe Root doing what
number 1 and number 2 in the world.
What Joe Root does. It's a shame that they couldn't have hung about for 20, 30 runs more.
Yeah.
Could have been a completely different story. But I just think we miss a switch up of Ben Stokes is great, but his body again is showing that it's letting him down. Then we haven't really got a spinner that's going to cause any damage.
No.
We've got pace, but it's unreliable. Like, what's Wokes going to be like after this shoulder injury?
Wokes,
I know it's not. It's not his. It is his bowling arm, wasn't it?
No, left.
No, it's his left. So it wasn't his bowling arm, but even
it was. It was. He was batting left-handed.
Because he's batting left-handed, wasn't he? So it's his right arm. So how's that going to affect his bowling action? Is he going to be ready? Probably not to come out here. So there's a few concerns with the bowling, but
I think this is the closest Ashes in Australia for a while that I can remember.
Be interesting to see who opens the batting for Australia, but
I think they're sticking with Kawaja, but they need to find someone else.
Need to find someone else for sure, but looking forward to it. What we're doing. We're not going to any of the other tests because
just going to Sydney
because the wallet can't handle it. But Formula One, there was Formula One over the weekend, weren't there?
Norris won, Piastri second.
Yeah, Norris.
McLaren just keep running away with it.
Keep absolutely dominating. But yeah, anything exciting happening in it?
No, not really. I don't know.
Where was it?
It was Hungary.
Ah, fair enough. But yeah, I think that's it. What we got to look forward to now? Lions is over.
Blues start their season on Friday against Ipswich.
Oh, we've got the Premier League kicking off and the Football League kicking off as well. I think that's about it though. We've got the rest of the rugby league to look forward to. We've got tickets to the final, which is good. But in terms of major sporting events, am I missing something? I don't want to be sounding like I'm missing something. But it doesn't. It feels like that's it. That's it for the year up until the Ashes, which what are we in now? August.
Women's Rugby World Cup, is that this year? No. Yes.
No, maybe. Not sure. Don't think so.
Let me just fact check that.
No, it's not because tickets. I don't think tickets have gone on sale yet. Because when I looked on the website earlier, I think it was just the men's ones that were going on sale.
It is. Yeah, it is this year. It's the end of August. I thought it was right.
Whereabouts?
England.
Oh, well, there we go then. over the other side of the world. Probably not the greatest of times to be able to watch that.
No, it's going to be shocking.
Be keeping
times.
an eye on it.
Come on the Roses.
Come on the Roses. But on that note, we will finish that one up there. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe, follow us along on socials, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Good night.